Alright, hey, Hayes Omega here, and welcome to another Hayes Omega show and tell video. So, I know it's this bike is constantly being worked on and evolved. I ride this bike really hard. I ride it harder than like most normal people, so we'll say, okay? So I just had a Supermoto race during the weekend. It was Supermoto USA 2022 round 3, alright? And like I think that's the last Supermoto race that this controller will be doing, alright? So I've decided that that's it for this controller, alright? I think I fried it or something's wrong with it, alright? And I haven't been able to fix it or anything for a while, and the problems are just getting worse and worse. The problem is it cuts out, and I get these phase over current errors, and yeah, and so I have to turn the bike off, turn it back on, and then the bike runs again, alright? And if that happens during a race, that like power, that 1 or 2, 3 seconds, however long it takes me to turn the bike off and turn it back on, it could cost me a race, alright? And that's kind of what happened in the last race. So, and then another thing is I could die, okay? So when the controller cuts out, you lose regen, alright? And I rely on the regen to slow the bike down, right? Because the brakes are not that good on the Sauron. So let's say so. And yeah, so if it cut out like before I got into a corner, I got no brakes, alright? I got no regen brake, so I have to make sure I get on the normal brakes, alright, the mechanical brakes. So that's a problem, and I decided, oh, that's it. We're not going to race with this controller anymore. It's been acting up for about a year, all right, and then it just has problems and problems. Like it keeps on overheating really quick. Yeah, it's just not running good anymore. So before it used to run really good. We could pull up to 13 kilowatts on it. Yeah, so but I really like this setup. However, yeah, I think it's the end of the life for the controller. I tried changing the motor out with another motor, like a QS motor, and it still runs pretty crappy. Okay, so it's not the motor is the problem; it's the controller, is what I want to say. Okay, thus far I have not been able to break the motor, but maybe I think it's probably close to there. So let's say, okay. Anyway, I'm going to do a review on the Electric Race Technologies BSC 4000 controller, alright, that I've been running for a few years now, in a separate video, alright? So if you want to hear about that, check that video out, okay? We're not going to use it anymore. I'm sure if I kind of just did some casual riding on the street with it, it would be fine, right? If I probably turned the power down a whole lot to maybe just above stock levels, is fine, alright? For racing, it is not fine, alright? I need that power for racing, okay? That's the problem. Just going out for like a casual ride and racing are two different animals, guys. Okay, so that's why I got what's in this box, alright? So what's in this box? This is the Electro Company EMXRon controller kit, alright? So this is a controller that Electro Company, alright, or Electro & Co. Made for the Sauron, alright. It's pretty much a custom kit, alright. I ordered this kit 4 weeks ago, okay. So on the website it tells you when you order it takes 2 to 4 weeks for it to be get to you, alright. And it took me 4 weeks exactly, okay, to get it. I was hoping to get it before the weekend's race, but didn't happen, alright. The post office couldn't get it to me fast enough. I waited, and it came today, okay? And I ordered it 4 weeks ago from the day. All right, so it says it takes 2 to 4 weeks, so they weren't lying. It took 4 weeks exactly, all right? And then so one of the reasons I bought this controller is because I bought a QS 165 motor. And I installed it on this, and I could only get it to work at like stock power levels, or else it would just cut out. Okay, so I took it out and I put the Sauron motor back in, and on their website it says they were working on selling it together in a kit with the QS motor. and it's a QS-165 with the Hall sensor. All right, and then so I asked. So they're the only ones that I know of that sell a controller that was tuned for that motor. All right, and so and I have it already. It's a pretty cheap motor, but it's better than the one that's on the Sauron. However, Austin from Electro Company told me that they couldn't get it to work. So if you go to their website, you can't actually choose it. All right, I think they're selling the motors, but yeah, they haven't got it to work with the controller yet. He told me that maybe in the future I might be able to run it, but he said that it's probably not likely. Like the keyword is maybe. Okay, so I can understand that. Hades Mega is not good at tuning this kind of stuff. You know, I would rather just buy it from somebody that's already done all the homework. You know, and then just slap it on and use it. All right, and so that is what Electro & Co. Advertise. Okay, basically, you just install the controller and that's it, and it runs. So hopefully that'll be the case. Okay. So let's go take a look at what's inside the box, and then we'll take a closer look at it, and then I'll get to installing it, and I might create a little step-by-step video of how to get it installed. Yeah, let me go over the kit. All right. Well, let me go over how I heard about this first. All right. So I went to go race at a pit bike race, and they had like an electric only. They had an electric class for Saurons. All right, I raced in the electric open class. No, I raced in the Sauron open class. That means you modified Saurons, all right, or Sauron modified. And I raced against three other bikes, and one of them was Electro & Co. Modified Sauron, all right. They called it the EMXRon, is what they called it, all right? So, and that's what I have here. That's the EMXRon kit, or that's what they call it. I think the controller is a Votol EM-150 controller, all right? That's the controller that they're using for this EMXRon, and they actually let me ride it, all right? After I got beat by it, somebody let me. Austin from Electro & Co. let me ride it, all right? And I rode it around the track. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. Honestly, it had so much power, I didn't even go past half throttle most of the time. Right? The only time there's like one straight section on that track, and I only got it. I would say that's the only time I was able to twist it, and it was only for like a second. Right? But I was pretty impressed. It had a lot of power, and the dude beat me on it. All right, against my Sauron. All right. I had the BSC 4000. Honestly, if you're going to be racing, you should have at least a BSC 8000. So that's what I've learned. All right, I should have bought the BSC 8000. All right, but now I got this puppy. All right, so yeah, that racing against that dude and getting beat by that bike and riding the EMXRon, just made me think like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll go try it out, because I've been having a lot of problems with this controller lately. So here we are. All right. So when you go to the website, there's a couple options you can pick. Some of them are kind of grayed out. And so Electro Company is a company that they, if you ever heard of Electro Brap, right? They do electric bike conversions. All right. They sell kits where you can convert like a dirt bike or whatever motorcycle to an electric bike. Right. Well, you only need like three basic components to electrify a bike, right? You need a motor, a controller, and a battery, right? Those are the three things, all right? The basic things, all right? Now, I'm not going to talk about like getting to the other small stuff, but anyway, Sauron's already an electric bike, all right? All we're going to do is change the controller, all right? So in this kit, you get a couple choices. You can run it with, there's a couple options. You can run it with the stock battery or aftermarket battery. Hades Mega has a Lightspeed 72 volt battery already, so I chose the aftermarket battery option. You have an option of choosing a voltmeter if you want an extra voltmeter on the bike to tell you how much voltage it is. The EMXRon that I rode, it did have that voltmeter, all right, and it was pretty. You can see it. It was pretty bright. You know, I don't know how visible it was in the day. Okay, I don't really need a voltmeter. I already have one on my battery lid, and the controller should tell you it, right? I think so. I have one on the battery too. So also there was the option for the QS165 motor, but it's kind of grayed out. You can't choose it yet, so I think it's still kind of work in progress. Maybe in the future it might work, but that the keyword is maybe. Remember, they're still working on it. Right, they got lots of bugs to work out with it. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, what else? There's a throttle. There's some throttle options, but you can't. But it says you can only use it with the stock throttle. There's another throttle that's like grayed out. What else? Oh, okay, and there's also a option for a warp drive button. Okay, so there's a switch. There's a switch that turns it into warp drive mode, or like boost mode, or turbo mode, or whatever, and it unlocks the controller to, like, you know, it gives it a map that's like it's full power. Okay, so it's like 14 kilowatts of power. All right, that's pretty much what the VAC 4000 can do, and a little bit more. Right, like I said, I pushed 13 kilowatts through this controller before, just barely, like 12.9 or something. So this is a 1,000 kilowatts more, 1,000 watts more. Okay, 1,000 watts more, and so that should be a significant little boost. All right, I think the VAC 8000 can probably do more than that. I'm not 100%. I've never fully. I've ridden one with a bike with the VAC 8000, but I didn't ride it to the limit. So let's say, okay, but I heard that with the VAC 8000 you could destroy your motor. Okay, so it's like too much for the Sauron motor to handle. So I think hopefully this will be safe. All right, but when I did race against the EMXRon, it was hot, dude. It was like 100 degrees, 100 plus, 105 degrees. It was a little bit humid, and yeah, and like I thought their bikes were going to overheat. The bikes were going to overheat, or the batteries were going to overheat, and they were still going hard. They were still hard charging, man, and they were riding the bikes harder than I was. Okay, and it didn't cut out or anything. Okay, they had a problem with the belt breaking. That was the problem. All right, so I already got the chain on there, so I don't have to worry about belt breaking. Yeah, okay, so that's it. I think it's $650 for the most basic options. All right, I chose the one with the warp drive switch because I'm going to use it for supermoto racing, and I need like every little bit of power that I can pull out of this battery. All right, so I chose the warp drive switch button. All right, that gives you the extra power. Also, I don't have an EP mode switch. My sport mode and EP mode switch is gone. Like the previous owner took it out. All right, there's some wires in there, like they hooked up to a switch that was the EP mode switch, but it stopped working when I installed this kit, so I turned it into a light switch. Okay, I may have to put that switch back. is what I was trying to tell you. So I think this kit has selectable power levels. All right, via just like the original Sauron, it has an EP mode and a sport mode, and then it has the warp drive mode. All right, and you need to hit that button to put it in the warp drive mode. There'd be like an extra switch on your handlebar. So I think you can ride it in 3 different modes. All right, the sport mode, the eco mode, and then the warp drive mode. Oh, okay. So I got a special option. I sent a message to Electro Company. I sent an email to them, and I asked them, hey, you know, I kind of like that DKD display. They have a DKD display that works with their controller. Some of the other conversion kits they had it there, and I was like, hey, will that work with the controller that I'm buying? And they're like, yes, it will. And we would have to do like some custom work to the harness or the controller to get it to work. But yeah, we can get it to work. So I said, okay, yeah, I would like one of those. So I like the NXT display on this, and it would be nice to get something just like it or nicer. Okay, so and I ride this bike on the street, so it's nice to have a speedometer. He told me that you can recalibrate it too. Okay, so that's one of the drawbacks to the Sauron The Sauron motor, all right. I mean, that's one of the drawbacks to the Sauron Light V is that you can't calibrate the speedometer, right? So if you change the wheels, you change the gearing, the speedometer is off, right? And there's no way to calibrate it. How? Come on, Sauron, what the hell, dude? How come you can't have a way to tune that, all right? It's pretty easy to change the sprockets and the wheels and all that stuff. You know, it's not that hard to like find a way to recalibrate, all right? The ERT NXT display, you can calibrate the speedometer, and that's what I liked about it, all right? And so this has a display that's kind of similar to it. Hopefully it's nicer than an NXT display, because I'm not a big fan of the display itself, right? It's not, the screen isn't very good. Okay, this is the same. It looks like the similar screen that's on the Saunders Metacycle, by the way. Okay, so it should be pretty good. That's what I'm thinking. All right, that's what a lot of these new bikes are coming with, these new electronic bike kits. So total, it was $700 with the warp drive switch. It was tuned for a 72 volt battery, and I had to spend an extra $100 to buy the DKD display, and then they gave me a separate harness for it. Okay, so should be good. I got these flex handlebars, and they got like a lot of room in the middle for a display, so hopefully we can get this thing mounted up there. It'll look great. Okay. So let's go take the stuff out of the box. We'll take a closer look at it, and then that'll be the end of the first part of the video. Okay, and I'll probably have a separate install video. All right, but this is just a show and tell video. All right. Okay, so before we check out what's in the box, let's check out the website a little bit. All right, so this is the website where I bought it from. All right, the Electro Co. webpage, and so I'm just going to go over to some of the highlights. All right, so this controller is capable of 14 kilowatts. That's pretty good. That puts it maybe a little bit ahead of the BSE 4000. All right, it's lightweight, simple install, no BS. So like, you just install it, slap it on there, and it should run like pretty similar to a stock Sauron. All right, but with 14 kilowatts of power. Oh yeah, so one of the options was for a battery. Okay, so they have a battery that you can install. Okay, there's a high power 72 volt 33 amp hour battery, and then there's a long range 60 volt 53 amp hour battery. All right, so they're just configured differently. It's supposed to be like a lightweight battery, like it's supposed to be weigh as much as the stock battery, I guess. There is an option for the QS motor upgrade, but you can't select it because it's not ready yet. There's the warp drive switch. Okay. The controller can be tuned for the stock battery with the bypass. Okay, there you go, guys. So you shouldn't use this on a Sauron with a stock battery unless it's been bypassed. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna have to modify your stock battery if you're gonna use this on a stock Sauron. Okay, if you're gonna use it with a stock battery, or you can have it tuned for a aftermarket battery. All right, which I have. And then there's a voltmeter. And then there's a throttle, okay, but you can't choose a throttle. You can only choose a stock throttle, I think. Yeah, okay. And then $649 is the base price. All right, with the warp drive switch, it's $700. Here's some other features. It only adds a total of 3 pounds. Oh yeah, they're saying their battery is lightweight. It's only 3 pounds. Everything after you install everything, it's about 3 pounds heavier than stock. Okay. Also, there's the QS motor option, but it's not ready yet. Okay, guys, I talked to Austin. They said that he doesn't recommend it yet. Okay, it says yeah, don't run it on. It's tuned for aftermarket batteries. Oh yeah. Okay, so if this is tuned for an aftermarket battery, you can't put a stock battery in there, guys. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So also the warp drive switch. It puts it into 14 kilowatt mode with increased RPM. Okay, so I think it's 7,000 because it says 7,000 on the box. I do know that the Sauron motor you can push that motor up to 8,000 RPM. Okay, so and it'll be okay. All right, I think it does have a field weakening, but I don't know. There's no settings or anything that you can change on it. All right. Okay, we're gonna play what's in the box. All right, I've already kind of taken everything out, but not really. All right, so here's that DKD display. All right, we're going to do a quick box inventory. This is the controller box right here. Take a look at that.
There's some brackets in here for it, alright? They're aluminum brackets. I may paint it, alright? It looks like they're just bent aluminum, pretty thin. That looks like about 1/8 thick. I'll get a caliper out. Hopefully we won't have any problems with this, okay? It is aluminum though, I like that. I'm not a fan of 3D printed stuff, guys. I've had 3D printed brackets for controllers before and they're not very good, okay? Depends on the 3D printer, I guess. Okay, there's a block here. Alright, I guess this is the block where you're going to screw all the wires together. Or a terminal block for the phase leads, because it's got 3 holes. Some stickers. Alright, there it is. There's Electro Company. Okay. Phase wires. Okay, phase wires. There's a green phase wire. Oh yeah, they're different. They're all different sizes. Okay, the green one is the medium-sized one. The small one is the blue one, and I think this is the yellow one. All right, there's a black one. It's black with the yellow stripe. All right, I guess they couldn't get a yellow shrink tubing. Okay, that's gonna go on the controller, and that connects the controller to the motor. Okay, guys. There's a harness here, all right, a long harness. I'd imagine this long harness is for the DKD display. All right, this goes for the display. And I will take everything out of the sub packaging. All right, this is the warp drive switch. All right. And then this is the harness that goes from the controller to the stock Suron harness. Okay, I'm gonna go take everything out of the packages, and then we'll take a closer look at it. All right, ta-da! There is everything. Okay, so let's start at the heart of it, the controller. All right, so there's the controller. It's pretty massive, guys. I would say it's about as heavy as a BSC 4000 and then some. When I go and take the old controller out, when we're gonna install this, we'll take the old controller out and we'll weigh what the difference is. All right, it's pretty massive, dude. Okay. All right, so this is where all the face wires go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any screws for this, so I don't know. Are you supposed to? Am I supposed to tape this back in or something, or am I supposed to find my own screws? The holes here aren't even tapped, so I would like to have a cover over the terminals. That would be nice. That would keep the dirt off of them, you know. Okay, but there it is. So there it is. It's a Votol. Okay, so it's a Votol EM-150/2. Okay, these are the phase wire hookups. Right, so it even gives you a torque spec. So 9 plus minus 2 Newton meters. All right, so I got the torque spec for these terminals. Okay, you got the blue. Okay, you've got blue. All right, there's the blue wire. Green, there's the green wire, and this is the yellow phase wire. It's the black one with the yellow stripe on it. Okay, and then you've got the black power wire and your positive power wire. Okay, these ones go to the battery, and these are your phase wires that go to the motor. Okay. And then, yeah, you got this cover over here. There's some stuff on the back of this. It says intelligent vector controllers. The voltage is 72 volts. The max current is 150 amps. Under voltage is 59 volts. Reversing point 120%. Braking high level. Okay. Motor type Z. All right. It says, I think this is a serial number here, all right, and that's maybe some kind of software info or something. And then this is it says CO Ecosys. There you go. So that's where I bought my QS motor from, CO Ecosys. All right, so this is the port where the harness connects to. All right, this guy, pretty nice connector. Let's take a look at the harness now. Okay, this is the harness that connects to the back of the controller. All right, this goes to the phase. This looks like it's for a phase wire. I think this is for the display. Okay. And yeah, and then the rest of this stuff goes to the Suron harness. Okay. Cool. I'm not really going to go over the phase wires. They're wires, alright guys. They're pretty thick. They look like they're 6-gauge wires. Is that going to be enough? I hope so. should be fine. I think those are about the same wires that I have on my bike right now. I get the Electro Company sticker on it. That's probably where I'll put it. I'll just put it on here. Looks great. Okay, there's the bracket right there. It looks like it's been, it's like folded aluminum bracket. It's very light, guys. Hopefully it will not break or crack or anything. So, but it's aluminum. Like I said, I'm a big fan of using aluminum for brackets. Okay, I think these are the brackets that hold the side of the controller on. There are no screws in here. I'm gonna have to ask Austin about that. I don't even know where to mount those brackets. Yeah, well anyway, when I install it, I'll figure it out. And then this is the block right here. Okay, I think you can see some terminals in there. All right, and there's a plastic cover for it. You can take the plastic cover off with these 2 screws. Right, oh, these are the screws right here. Okay, gotcha. That's what these are. Okay, there's 4 metric bolts. All right, I think that's a 4mm, maybe 4 or 5, something around there. And then it comes with the locking nuts. Okay, it comes with four locking nuts. 1, 2, okay. 3, 4. Oh. Okay, I think we're missing some screws still. Okay, and then here's the DKD display. Okay, it's got a plastic protector, screen protector on it. It's very reflective. Okay, it's pretty nice. Well, you know, when I fire it up, you guys can see what it looks like, but it's pretty big. Right? You know what it reminds me of? It's the same. It looks like the same display that's on like a Aprilia motorcycle, or Energica. It does look like the one in the Energica, sort of, kind of. All right. It looks pretty nice. Okay, there it is. It looks like it takes 3 screws to mount it. All right, what I think I might do is make some L brackets. We'll figure something out. All right, it didn't come with any brackets to install it on the Soron, and I believe you have to take this out. All right, because I was playing around with it earlier. You got to take this out and disconnect this harness. I guess is the harness that comes with it originally. Okay. And you got to plug this in. Okay. And then this plugs into the harness for the for this guy. Okay. That's why this bad boy's so long. That's the harness for it. It's only 3 wires. It's like a positive, negative, and some kind of speed sensing wire. Okay. Pretty basic stuff. It's got this long cable, a nice sheath to it, or jacket. Okay, there it is. That's what $700 gets you. All right. Remember, you need either a stock bypass battery or you need some kind of other aftermarket battery. You should probably tell them if it's an aftermarket 60-volt battery or 72-volt battery. I'm assuming I put aftermarket battery. They're assuming it's a 72-volt battery. All right, guys. If you want more power, get the 72-volt battery. If you want more range, get an aftermarket 60-volt battery. Okay, they got some. There's a lot of options out there now. Okay, Mega's been doing the Soron game for a long time, right? There's the, oh yeah, I didn't go over to switch. This is the warp switch. I don't know if you can install it up or down. All right, but you just flick that and hold on. All right, cool. It's a nice switch. It's big, thick, meaty piece of aluminum. Alright, and then there's the wire that goes for it. Okay, so this will kind of be my EP mode switch, I guess. So it'll run in like a normal mode and then over boosted mode. So the one thing I do like about having ride modes and stuff, right, or different power levels like eco and normal and sport and stuff like that, is that for different types of riding, guys. So when I'm on the racetrack, you know, at the kart track for supermoto stuff, I need like a lot of power, so I need the max power, right? When I'm riding off-road, I don't need a whole lot of power, guys. You really only need like 10K off-road, all right? This is way too much power for riding off-road. It's a handful when you got that much power. Okay, now maybe if you're doing like riding on a big motocross track and you need like a lot of power, you know, really fast, yeah, maybe you want to use that warp drive switch. But Yeah, different writing dictates different levels, in my opinion. All right. It'd be nice. So what Austin had told me is that with this kit, you can't do any options. All right, there's nothing. The options are the ones that you choose initially, and then that's it. All right, you can't. It's not like the NXT display. You can't like. He told me it doesn't do beep boop. Okay, guys, that's exactly. Those are the quote unquote. It doesn't do beep boop. Okay, you cannot change settings on it. I can't adjust the regen like I want. You know, I can't. There's no regen throttle. There's no regen throttle feature, so I'm gonna lose my regen throttle. I'm really sad about that. All right, guys. And there's yeah, you can't just adjust. Well, there's a way to adjust the power levels through the switches, but you can't like fine tune it. All right, there's no fine tuning, guys. All right, like I said, he wanted this to be a plug and play kit. All right, you just install it and it'll run. Okay, so hopefully that'll be the case. All right, so that's the end of the show and tell video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will have a separate install video when I install it. All right, and then we'll do a little comparison between the ERT kit and the EMXRon kit. All right, so this is the Electro Co EMXRon controller kit. All right, there you go. It starts at $650, and it could get up and upwards of $700, probably more, with the QS-165 motor if they ever get that working. Okay, but that would be great if you could use that motor, because that's a kind of a beefier motor than the stock motor. Okay, and this is a special option that a custom dealie that I had them do with this display. Okay, I wanted this cool display. I thought, hey, that looks sweet. I want that on my Sauron. So I had to specifically ask for this. So you can't just like do the thing. All right. Maybe if he gets enough people interested in it, they might make it like an option that you can just select off of the website. Okay. This took me 4 weeks. All right. On the website it says it takes 2 to 4 weeks lead time before you get it. All right. It took me 4 to 4 weeks. Okay, I was hoping it would be more like 2 weeks, but no dice. And then if you have the QS-165 motor option, it's 3 to 6 weeks, it says. All right, but the QS option is not available as of this video. Okay, and I talked to Austin, and he told me, yeah, that's the scoop. It's not prime time yet. Okay. Oh yeah. By the way, there is no documentation for this at all. All right, so one of the things Hades Omega doesn't like is when he doesn't get any kind of instructions with anything. Okay, I would like a physical paper instructions to come with the kit. And nothing like that came with this. Okay, so I don't know, there might be some stuff online. I'm gonna go check, but yeah, anyway, you can watch my video how I install it. All right, if you guys want to figure out how it goes in, that's why I make these videos. Okay, so I figure out all the hard stuff for you guys. All right, so there we go. So this is the Electro Co. All right, Electro Company EMXRon kit. All right, good stuff. Thanks for watching. Here's Miguel.